mortgage technology.
Mortgage
And you're
technology,
very
mortgage
close.
technology. Yeah, very close. So it's similar stuff. So first off, why don't you tell us about Title, what you guys do, and where the idea came from?
Oh, absolutely. Before I even jump in, start talking about solution, I want to talk about problem. And then these days, it is in 21st century. And then people are accustomed to, basically instant responses. And also with a few clicks, they can have the services delivered, but not for mortgage. Why not? Of course, people in mortgage technology or the mortgage industry are going to tell you a million reasons why it cannot happen. We at Tidal Wave, we want to solve for that. Today, and the Tidal Wave is in the industry and offering a capability, agentic AI powered mortgage application. And we call that mortgage point of sale, also known as a point of sale plus, because our service and capability is powered by AI. We engage with the customer, we secure their permission, we evaluate the loan application on their behalf, we complete the loan application document for them.
Okay, interesting. So you work with the mortgagee and then the mortgage provider, but you're sort of like a middleman that kind of like produces the document that goes to the mortgage company, and they can do whatever they do their old system with it. But you're mostly sort of you're the person who fills it out, I guess.
Yes, we help your customer. We help the mortgage lender customer, and basically getting through the application, evaluate the file, making sure it's a clean file, and before their mortgage underwriter even get their hands on it.
Interesting. So tell me about building the business. I mean, you mentioned before that you were you're a multiple founder, but you're not from the States. How easy was it to build a business as an immigrant?
Of course, it's very hard. Luckily, this is not the first time I built a business. So I built my first business, not in the mortgage technology field, but in the iTech. So my first company was Freewheel, which is a business powered the TV monetization platform. And then we built that from scratch. And then at the time that I faced a lot of challenge already, even being someone that in that industry, being in iTech, because my first career started from DoubleClick. DoubleClick is an advertising technology company. As my, that was my entry-level software engineer as my first job. And then over the year, I rose up, run the engineering team, sold to Google. That's when I started my first company. And then over those years, as I building the company and always facing the challenges, right? And number one, I don't really speak English as my native language. As you can tell, I still speak, with broken language and then with a lot of accent. So in those sense that as you're starting as an outsider, you always have to understand, basically the capability. You have to come in with a humble mindset. You want to learn what it takes to build something that you are not fully aware of. So I'm super, conscious about that. Always feel insecure and want to know everything that I do not know. And this comes to my second company as well, Tidal Wave. I always consider myself as not really a mortgage veteran, even though I come to learn about mortgage capability and learn everything about mortgage origination when I serve as a CPO at Better Mortgage. I feel like got a long time learning, basically understand, but I still feel like, I don't know everything. So keeping an eye out there and then super aware of what you don't know is going to help you to avoid any type of mistake you might run into. I see that that's a weakness of me and also at the same time a benefit, a strength.
How do you manage that? I mean, I've seen loads of people who have that same attitude. They need to know everything, and that turns into either a sort of a analysis paralysis or micromanaging. Do you think you fall into any of those things? How do you avoid those traps?
As an entrepreneur, I would say that it's very critical for you to be super aware that you don't know everything. Also, at the same time, you have to be able to navigate with uncertainty because there's no way you can know everything. Okay. And then sometimes you do have to follow your instinct, follow your gut, and then be aware that may not be right. And you have to learn about how to pivot very quickly.
And how do you encourage? First off, how do you get information out of folks, especially if you're unable to communicate it as well? What are some best practices that you have?
Ask a lot of questions, and especially when I come to basically be aware of what I don't know, and also listen to others. Let me give you an example. In the early stage of tidal wave, when we started, we thought as an engineer, I have an engineering team, which is the team that built my first company with me, and then followed me out of Comcast into Better, and then followed me out of Better. We built the tidal wave together. So as an core engineering team, we always feel like, hey, you know what? Let's solve the problem from the back end. Let's solve the problem from the hardest one to start, which is the mortgage origination. Let's figure out how to do underwriting with one touch. And then, I think a lot of people probably will follow the same path. As we built, we realized that's a lot harder to start as a small startup. And also, you have to understand, and if you don't have a clean file to start, regardless of how fancy a technology you build in the backend, it still doesn't work. I learned that from talking to a good friend of mine, Chris McClendon. Now he's the CRO of the company. So I remember vividly about that conversation. Chris and I had a conversation. I shared with him what I want to build, how I want to start. He sat there, he's 25 years mortgage veteran, by the way, and he basically know everything, had been selling the mortgage technology software for life. And he was veteran at Encompass, ICE Encompass, and also Black Knight before that. So he sat there, he was like, Diane, I think you will have a much easier market entry if you start from point of sale instead of starting from the back end, because many people starting from the back end, they sunk in a lot of money in that and couldn't go anywhere. I was like, okay. So he must know something, because many years of experience and taught him a lot about how to sell software and what the lender would highly likely to buy first. And then I took his idea back, evaluated with my team. We pivot right there and changed instead of building a loan origination software, we build a point of sale. And these days we're the unique point of sale capability powered by AI and getting a lot of attention from the lenders.
So in terms of point of sale, what would you describe that as being? Sort of like the consumer facing side or the bank facing side? What does that consist of?
We do that on behalf of the bank and the lender and credit union. So we interact with their customer on behalf of them. That's the key and the critical piece. We follow their criteria, follow their standard, interact with the borrower. And then once we interact with the borrower, we want to be able to secure the permission from the borrower and evaluate all the document those borrower has made available for us to have access to, and then create complete mortgage application on behalf of the lenders.
So the goal wasn't to build something big and giant and technological, or what your friend said. Don't build a technological thing. Don't build a really complex thing. Build the thing that makes it easier for everybody to get work done.
To start, yes.
Yeah, interesting. How is it dealing with that world, which is mostly just like, I don't know, guys, kind of hard charging guys, real estate folks, that sort of thing? How is it dealing with that sort of first off that IT environment and then also that banking environment?
So I have to say that over the course of my career, I have been very much used to being the only outsider, who doesn't speak English and who's also look very different compared to others. Even back in the ed tech, I'm always being this female engineer at the corner. And then I learned over the years, well, number one, being confident about what you know